Let's do a nice little contrast here, because it is actually time, and one of the reasons that maybe we don't bang on about this as much is I really do assume that if you're watching or listening to this show, you're registered to vote, you're engaged in the process, you understand the severity of the midterms, you're going to go out and vote for Democratic candidates, you're going to find the leftmost candidates you can vote for who can win, and you're going to make it happen. From district attorneys races, DA's races are crucial. I want to shout out a candidate in the fun half as well. I'll get the information up. She's running in Suffolk County in Massachusetts. That's a 2-Democrat race, but one of the Democrats is pro-drug war, and the other one's is a real reformer. So you know this. One of a very important race is the gubernatorial race in Florida. And not just because, in my estimation, Andrew Gillum's a good candidate who does provide something different. Again, with all the obvious caveats, which pretty soon I'm just going to stop listing these. It should go without saying that a guy who's on the verge of potentially becoming governor of Florida is not as left-wing as I am. This is not like, I don't know how much these sort of obvious things bear repeating, but he's running really aggressively on healthcare. He's running aggressively on the environment, which we're going to hear in a second. And innately, you should care profoundly about voting rights, which are under assault nationally by the GOP, and very specifically in Georgia, where there's another huge gubernatorial race with a great candidate in Stacey Abrams. And Brian Kemp's whole war is to suppress the vote of people of color. In and of themselves, they matter, and they're going to play a huge role in 2020 for flipping a state like Florida out of the Trump column. So this race matters a lot. And I got to tell you, this is the type of thing, and this is me being super superficial. Watch Andrew Gillum talk about climate, the climate crisis, and a scientific approach to it. And then look at DeSantis, who's the Republican candidate, who is known for putting out a creepy campaign commercial, being a bizarre Trump acolyte, being on, I believe, white supremacist Facebook and internet forums, and generally being a very kind of awkward, odd, out of the mainstream guy. Now, I want you to take this on two levels. One is that Andrew Gillum's absolutely right about climate, and also, if you just are observing this on a body language level, let's put on our Jordan Peterson spectacles. I was just having to talk about this guy for a weekend, which is kind of a nightmare. But which of these two do you think is the head lobster in charge? And the only way that you could think that it's not Andrew Gillum, I am going to have to pull out some race shit on you, because I have no idea how else you could read this. Look at this.
Well, first, what Florida voters need to know is that when they elect me governor, they're going to have a governor who believes in science, which we haven't had for quite some time in this state. I'm not sure what is so California about believing that the state of Florida ought to lead in solar energy. We're known as the Sunshine State. At the very least, what we can do is be a global leader here. We got to teach the other 49 states of what to do and what it means to have a state that, quite frankly, leans into the challenges of the green economy and builds one, and at the same time builds an economy that lasts. I'm proud that the same week that Donald Trump pulled out of the Paris Accord, I broke ground in my city on a 120-acre solar farm, tripling the amount of solar energy that we produce. We're prepared to lead, and we've done so in my city, and we'll do so for the state.
That is one of the most awkward body language I've ever seen.
Yeah, it looks like like a time lapse of some guy getting sick to his stomach.
It looks like one guy is a confident leader speaking urgently about the future, and the other guy is auditioning for a Flonase ad. You have something else to play here?
No, I guess it's just the same clip, but with the
governor. They're going to have a governor who believes in science.
I have another theory about why,
which we haven't had for quite some time in this
Republicans.
state. I'm not sure what is so California about believing that the state of Florida ought to lead in solar energy. We're known as the
So I think the theory, Gillum says the thing of...
he's just staring into the void right there.
He says, we believe in science, right? Mm-hmm. And that's, obviously, we've been over this a few times. That's not really the point. The point is that Republicans are paid to obfuscate science.
That's right.
But the other thing is maybe there's another reason why Republicans don't care about climate change besides, funding. That's that they are cold-blooded reptilians. Because if you look at his body language here, it looks like something out of the X-Files.
Florida ought to lead in solar energy. We're known as the Sunshine State. At the very least, what we can do is be a global leader here. We got to teach the other 49 states
human
what to do.
face
It means to have
melting.
that quite frankly leans into the challenges of
Reptile
the green
face
economy and
taking
builds
over.
one, and at the same time builds
So
an
what
economy,
is I like
that
with this
lasts.
your
I'm proud
theory
that the
mixed
same
with the
week that
curb
Donald Trump
music
pulled
would
out
mean
the
like
Paris
he's like a
Accord, I
really
drove around in my city
stressed
on a
reptile.
It's like a hapless reptile.
He's like not cut for the job of being a shape-shifting overlord.
No, it's like in the first scene of Blade Runner when they're giving the guy the replicant test and he just like freaks out.
Well,
That's a good call, except I love Blade Runner, but it's because he's too human.
Well, the thing about reptile brains is
DeSantis is the opposite. They're like, dude,
DeSantis is
get out of reptile.
DeSantis is
Try
in the
method acting.
He's in the unenviable position of being a sort of humanoid reptilian, but understanding having some allegiance to humans and realizing that the human side is all going to be cooked. So he's
So you think he's actually having some guilt?
I
here?
think he's experiencing sort of primitive emotions in his lizard brain.
He's like, friendly
And
black
it's like,
man
what is
will
going
die.
on? He's having like the equivalent of like an acid trip, which is just like experiencing the shame of and horror of what he's actually representing here.
I did an ad where my son quoted from Donald Trump's book. What hath we wrought? Who am I? Why do I hate this nice gentleman across from me?